Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your service. How are you all? I hope you're doing very, very well. It is a Friday night, and a Friday night normally means that this guy goes out and about, oot and about, drinking lots and lots of whiskey, acting like a complete idiot, dancing like he was only 17 years old, and then coming home with his head banging, oh God no, because it's a Freedom Friday. And yet, this particular Freedom Friday, I'm not ooting about, I'm not drinking whiskey, I'm actually sat here at home in front of this camera talking to you guys because I'm under house arrest. I'm confined to barracks. I have no moolah, I have no dosh, no cash, no nothing, because I'm skint. I don't get paid for another week, a week today. Woohoo! Anyway, it is what it is, and what it is shit at the moment. Anyway, no whiskey in the house. I'll have to make do with this. Although, considering the subject matter of this particular video, a bit of mountaintop hooch, a bit of moonshine would have come in really, really handy and been very appropriate. Bottoms up, y'all. We're playing the music to this particular movie, and this is by Richard Stone. And the movie in particular is 1988's great little creature feature, Pumpkinhead. Yes, you all know it, Pumpkinhead. This was the directorial debut of Stan Winston. Stan Winston, the late great Stan Winston, was a special effects makeup guru. This guy, he did the aliens for the film Aliens. He made it look like there was absolutely armies of aliens when in fact there was only about 6 suits were actually made. So you never saw more than 6 on screen at any one time. He had long harboured ideas of becoming a film director, of wanting to have more of an input than just the special effects. So for Pumpkinhead, his directorial debut, I think he directed another full-length movie after this, and then I think there's a couple of shorts and a couple of video game promos, I think. But Pumpkinhead is his big claim to fame. The story's his. I think he may have co-wrote the screenplay as well, but it's his baby. Pumpkinhead is definitely his baby. And the story behind it is, it's set out, Lance Henriksen, the great Lance Henriksen, who of course had worked with Stan Winston before on Aliens, because he was Bishop, who gets torn in half. Not bad for a human. And he's like a single parent, living on his farmstead out in the rural, southern states, not far from the bayous and all that. And of course, city folk intrude upon this rural idyll. He's looking after his son, and his son is about 7 or 8 years old, got glasses, a little Stetson hat on, and he's one of the most adorable little kids ever. And you can tell by my voice that this is not going to end well for anyone really. But first of all, the poor little kid. And city folks come. It's always city folks who intrude on these rural places, these beautiful, little backwoods areas, and they're on dirt bikes, and it is an accident. And this particular leather-jacketed, he's the one who's got a criminal record. He's the one who, he'll punch out the others. He's the one who's the badass. And yet the rest of them are all quite nice people. How the hell does this mismatched gang of teens, get together? How did he hook up when you've got nice kids and a bad apple, It doesn't work like that in reality. Anyway, the poor little kid gets hit by one of the bikes. They come over the crest of a hill and the kid gets hit. They panic, obviously, and because this badass knows, it's an accident, but their mistake is to run away. But one stays behind because he's got a conscience, to wait for the dad to come back, and that's of course Ed Harley, which is Lance Henriksen, comes back, finds his boy dying, and this guy's going, look, it was an accident, I'm sorry, we'll come back, it's an accident, we didn't mean this, I waited to see you. And Lance Henriksen, Ed Harley, picks up the son, and oh my God, Lance Henriksen is a very unsung character actor. He's been in 1,000,001 movies, mainly horror, thriller, futuristic, actioners. He can play a villain, he can play a good guy, he can play anything, but it's very intense. And amongst cult aficionados, genre fans, he's very highly regarded. But the rest of the world hasn't got a sodding clue who he is. But there's a sequence here when he picks up his dying son, and this guy's going like, look, Mister, we're sorry, we didn't mean it. And he's got a son, and he turns back and he just looks, and that look of pure evil, justified evil. I am going to get you and kill you. That look in his eyes, Jesus, it burns you, it really burns into you. Anyway, this wasn't meant to be a review of the movie, because you know what I'm coming on to. I'm just sowing the seeds, the pumpkin seeds. And obviously, he knows about the old woman out in the swamps. Yeah, he's heard stories. So he asks around a bit, like, where is she? No one really wants to know. And but he does find that Ed Harley, this gnarled old witch, says, I can't bring your boy back to life, but I can grant you revenge. So of course, Pumpkinhead, the demon of revenge. For every one of man's sins, there's a particular demon, or something like that. That's the tagline of the movie. I'd love to see what my fucking demon is. Bottle of whiskey, with a mask on or something like that. I don't know. But the little Pumpkinhead's birthed out of, it's a vast tree stump, but you've got to climb up into it. It must have been some mighty oak, and inside this tree stump is the little pumpkin patch where all the demons are born out of. And lo and behold, this thing grows into the towering Pumpkinhead, which then goes on a rampage to track down all these kids and kill them all around shacks and the woods and an old abandoned church in the woods. And it's a very atmospheric, very brooding, very dark, chilling movie. Where it falls down for me is that, given that Stan Winston is the big special effects, makeup effects guru, he is very restrained when it comes to the kills. And you really want these people to, suffer. Well, obviously some of them, the worst ones. There's a couple of good guys amongst them, but in the end, the Pumpkinhead doesn't give a shit. It's going to kill them all. And in a neat little twist, you've got the idea that once it begins to kill, Ed Harley, which is Lance Henriksen, has a spiritual bond which the witch didn't tell him about. The witch. So he begins to see what it sees and feel the deaths of these characters. So and he's like, no, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I meant. Vengeance comes at a price, Ed Harley. So he realizes he's got to try and stop this creature, because before he and the creature Pumpkinhead become one and the same, because it's not what he wanted. Anyway, I just wish the kills were a bit more graphic and there was a bit more of them. But the film itself, I get a real good kick out of it. It's strongly emotional. There's a little sequence where you think the lad's dead, and suddenly he just goes, "Daddy!" Jesus, it's heartbreaking. It's genuinely heartbreaking. But anyway, Trick or Treat Studios came out with a mask for Pumpkinhead a while ago, and here it is now. You were wondering when I was going to get around to this, weren't you? And there's good music for the big reveal. Yes, it's not testicular cancer, although it may look like that. Which is, you've got a rather bulbous back-end scrotum here. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of demonic ball sack going on here. If you wake up and find one of these hanging out the bottom of your kilt, fuck me, you're in trouble. But yeah, Pumpkinhead. Now, for those of you who want to see, here is the actual official label. Trick or Treat Studios, all the usual bump about looking after your precious mask, and it says officially licensed collection there, which kind of implies that there'd be more than one mask in this Pumpkinhead set. Well, to my knowledge, there isn't. There's the picture on the back of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you'd do unless you did the witch, but the witch isn't particularly an eye-catching design. She's just a haggard old woman. I'll tell you, witch-wise, the one I really want to see, get a mask of or a great figure of, is from Ridley Scott's legend, Meg Mucklebones. Oh my God, the one who challenges the young Tom Cruise as Jack, the forest boy. She's gonna, do you intend to eat me, Miss Meg? Oh, indeed I do, she says. And she's fucking terrified. Played by Robert Picardo, who was in one of them Star Trek things. I only know the original Star Trek, the real Star Trek. Kirk, Scotty, McCoy, Uhura, Zulu, Spock, that guy. But Robert Picardo was in one of the other fucking things. Next Generation, I don't know which one it was. But he was also, best of all, the big werewolf Eddie Quist in The Howling. I want to give you a piece of my mind. And he puts his fingers into his head and pulls out a bit of the bullet that's been fired into his skull. And he's terrifying. But he plays the witch, and it was Rob Bottin who does the special makeup effects for Legend. And that is one hellishly fucking grotesque bit of witchery. And I'd love to get some kind of mask of that one. Or if it, on the topic of Legend, who wouldn't kill for a Tim Curry darkness mask? Them horns! Oh my word. But, back to the case in point. Made by Trick or Treat Studios, we have a lovely set of weird teeth. Fair bit of plaque build up there. Should be using Sensodyne or some kind of whitening toothpaste. Nice bit of tonguage going on there. Lots and lots of wrinkles and contours and dents. We have some throbbing veins here in this big pumpkin head. It is a very sort of rude looking creation, is it not? You can see the design work is also sort of like alien. So it's the toothy bit, the business end, the head sort of goes back, and you've got like this sort of bulbous bit at the back. This membranous sort of sac, sort of lots of the meaty pulp of the pumpkin, of the vegetable, is definitely there. You can see all this going on. Lots of stretched bits and sort of sinewy bits and what have you, all pulled taut. It's a big creature. I mean, it stands, what is it, about 10 feet tall, maybe more. Long arms on it. If you wanted to make a full costume of this, I think you'd have a bit of difficulty. You'd probably have to wear those, those big stilts that dancers wear. The ones that they wore in Dog Soldiers as the big werewolves in that. Dog Soldiers, great movie. Great looking werewolves, except for the one thing. They've all got heads like Lassie. They all look really too cute to be savage, ferocious werewolves. But yeah, so you have this. Now, inside, because it's quite a big mask, it's quite heavy. Inside it, they've already attached lots and lots of spongy supports. And also for those of you that like this sort of thing, and I know there's a fair few of you out there, inside here, although I can't find any actual initials or any numbers, it has got one of those glorious little pumpkins. Yeah. See that there? Little pumpkin. Very apt, of course. For Pumpkinhead, you've got a pumpkin emblem in there as well. I love Orc. Look at the eyes. The eyes are very sort of milky, off-white, and they're shot through with bloody veins, going through both sides. I mean, his kills, he scratches people, he throws them through a window. You don't really see what he does. He doesn't shred anyone, which you'd like to see, Drags a few bodies, hangs them from trees, Got a fair bit of what you probably can't make out. Some of these bits here, they're sort of pale blue to denote these veins. You've got these veins here, and there's other little areas which are discoloured, almost like there's sort of membranous sacs pulsing there, But it is a great design. Ah, yeah, of course, you're right. Going in, if I can get it. Ow! Ow! That stabbed me right in the eye. pumpkin pie. Yes. And today on the news. Yeah. I mean, as you can see, there's actually a grin. He is grinning. And of course, you know, your pumpkins, your traditional pumpkins on Halloween, what do? You carve a great big grin into them, don't you? And you can see that he is grinning. That is a sort of... Anyone out there familiar with Emu? Rod Hull and Emu. Emu, for those that don't know, this is back in the 70s and 80s. Rod Hull was a guy that operated this huge puppet called an emu, based on the actual creature, the emu. Is it called an emu or is it called an ostrich? No, it's definitely an emu, isn't it? Fucking hell. And what it would do, because he was operating it, he'd often be interviewed, and this emu would always attack, you know, someone, especially Michael Parkinson, the great Michael Parkinson, who's interviewed everybody on the planet. And it would go for him and attack him, and the audience would be laughing. But really speaking, that is just Rod Hull with his hand inside this puppet, attacking people and getting away with it. but what it do, because it's got a beak. Whenever it got angry or someone asked the wrong question, somebody upset it, it would go. Its beak would come up, and you knew it was kind of snarling. That kind of looks a little bit like that. The way that, you know, this bit juts out here, and you've got this sort of saily snarl going on here. And the top bit of the mouth is going, top jaw. So it's kind of like, it's a grin, but it's also like, yeah, you're going down, boy. You know. Now, what I will say about this, I'm going to do some work on it. Now, I think this is a fabulous mask. I really do. I love the design of it, and I think they captured it exceptionally well. But I think, for me personally, it's a bit too pale. I am going to put more shading inside of a lot of these contours. This is all in the film as well. A bit of like a folky sort of like fiddle playing. But yeah, I'm going to put more shading in. I'm going to darken some of this. There's definitely, because I think overall it's just a bit too pale. That's really my only misgiving about this mask. Otherwise, I think it's absolutely, you know, brilliant. Very accurate, very atmospheric, very intense, unusual. Look at these. You know, there's a dog, my dog, Roxy, the wonder dog, the husky. She's got lots of friends when she goes out. And there's this little bulldog type thing. And he's got his little black marbles hanging down. They do remind me of this. Obviously not to that is not the right side. You know, if he had them, Christ, he'd be in trouble. All very popular. But it is a great design. I think you'll agree. Let's go around the back again. And I think the guys who actually, although Stan Winston obviously designed this, I don't think he was too busy directing and writing, so he didn't actually build the creature itself, or he probably oversaw a lot of it. And it was Alec Woodruff and James Gillis, Tom Woodruff and James Gillis are the two effects guys. Done a lot of, they did Tremors and a lot of other movies during the 80s. I think they worked on Alien Resurrection as well. But they're the guys who came up with the actual effects for the movie. And although I say it's quite restrained, gore-wise, and the only real creature you've got is this, and the baby version, which is quite good as well. But the film is sumptuously directed, and it looks visually splendid. It's only a short film, but the swamp bits, you know, and the tree where he's birthed out of, the bit with the church, a lot of spooky blue lightning and stuff. It's great, you know. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it wholeheartedly. And it won't take up much of your time either. But unlike my videos. If you look here, there's so much detail. so much cracks and crevices and sort of scaly ripped up. Because you look at that, you don't immediately think pumpkin, do you? I'll be honest, you don't think pumpkin. And the back there, you don't really think pumpkin. In fact, I'm getting a bit of a face hugger feel from that. Can you see this here? Can you imagine, like, see that's the face hugger clamped on someone's face, you know, and you know, sort of abstract. You've got the those tentacle leg things going around, but that is the big giveaway, sort of the face hugger. I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing things. What was that? Yeah, I'm definitely seeing things. Like a bottle of whiskey floating past. Oh yes, that reminds me. See, the weird thing for me, being a whiskey drinker, is that I can drink whiskey all day long, and you don't need to go for the piss. Kilt-Man, what's that got to do with Pumpkinhead? Nothing. But I'm still just chin wagging with you. You can drink it all day long, and it gets absorbed very quickly. And you're not drinking much, even with a large one. You know, you're talking like that much, and you're drinking that, but you don't go to the toilet. You start drinking stuff like this, or pints, or bottles of beer. Well, that's it. Because you think about it, all that fluid in there goes in. That doesn't get absorbed into any bloodstream that quickly. That's going straight to your bladder. So then of course, once you start going, you've opened the floodgates. And I'll tell you what, I do not miss that now. When I go out for a night out, I should have been out tonight. Should have been out tonight. Have you got any money to lend me? Just a tenner. I'll get me 2 large whiskies. I brought him to life and he's just ignoring me now. That's the thanks you get. Anyway, yeah, so I can knock back the whiskies all day long. I'm not good at toilet at all, and I wake up with no hangover. Whiskey doesn't give me a hangover. However, this stuff, oh god. If I went out and drank lager or beer all night long, well, I couldn't do it. I just genuinely couldn't do it. I'd feel all that fluid going inside me, and I'd start getting... And I noticed that if people that drink this stuff, they begin to, well, I was there myself, I've done it, I spent years drinking that before I came to my senses. And they start slurring and their eyes start going all helter-skelter. And they just become like a real tedious bore, telling you the same story over and over and over again. Telling you the same story over and over again. Tedious bore. But I'm drinking whiskey, and with a crowd like that, I'm kind of noticing, shit, you're falling asleep, you're boring. You've told me this 10 times now. Where's Steve? Oh, he's gone the bog. Didn't he go to bog fire? Yeah, he's gone the bog. So it's just better off on the whiskies, mate. But anyway, back to the case in point. I love these rather sort of untoward fangs he's got jutting out from the sides of his mouth. They're kind of like, because obviously he's not from any evolutionary strand. He's not evolved from another animal. These things are just a demonic visage. He's been created by black magic, and obviously the earth, the polluted, corrupted, darkened earth, which has been cursed. Yeah, the film did spawn at least 1 sequel, although I think 2. Blood Wings, was that one of them? I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen them. I could be wrong, maybe I did see them and I just dismissed them because they were that bad. But I know the sequels are turds. I know they are. But it would be great to get... How many times do I bang on about, like, oh god, sequels or remakes? In the case of Pumpkinhead, I think a proper big sequel, or even, I'm a hypocrite, even the remake could work, because there's a lot more ground to cover with this story, with what goes on, and the creature looks great but doesn't do a great deal. The story could be expanded, so I don't know, it's just wishful thinking. I just want to see more of this guy, want to see him doing some stuff, going on more of a rampage. in a bit more of an epic saga. But there you go. I still think you're beautiful. But I will do some work on it, as I say. There's a lot of bits here which I think would benefit from the shading. I know you've got some dark and sort of more livid pink patches, and you've got this very sort of pale, anemic sort of colour scheme. And you've got all this stuff as well, you know. There is a lot going on here. I'm not denying that. But overall, it's a very sort of pale appearance. And I think I'd like to darken it up a bit. Anyway, folks, Pumpkinhead. He's got the head of a pumpkin and the scrotum of a T-Rex. So, hope you like it. Trick or Treat Studios came out a short while ago, and it's well worth your time and effort if you're into masks. If you're not, why are you watching this video? And as I say, it does come with all those supports inside, which is very nice of them to do so, because it is an outlandishly big mask. So without them, I think you'd have a bit of, well, you'd have to put them in, otherwise it'd be rattling around all over your shoulders, it'd be coming off the back of your head, like. But as I say, you know, if you want to do a full costume for it, I think you'd have a bit of a tough time. He has great big, he's very skeletal, but with all this kind of weird pulpy flesh on him. His bones are all kind of on show, and he has these sort of huge shoulder blades that come up like that, and these super long bony arms with huge long talons and claws. There's a nice little clicky sort of hiss as well. So he's a great creature without a doubt. One of the most memorable of the 80s monsters, you know. Anyway, folks, I'm going to leave it there. So, Pumpkinhead, be careful out there. When you're riding your dirt bikes in a land that you don't belong, just be careful. Don't antagonize the locals, because they all know some old woman out in the woods, out in the swamp. There's fucking tons of old women out here. I wouldn't go near them at all. Jesus. Look at that. They sit there, they've only got one eye and they look at you. They're usually in the pub as well, like, you know, and they're like that.
What are you doing? Why are you wearing a kilt? You don't even sound remotely Scottish.
Folks, take it easy. Be happy, be healthy. Keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. And I'm going to see you all...